What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SGN video where it's all sim all the time, and today we are bringing you my Madden 24 sliders, which I consider to be the best sliders out there. I know a lot of people do as well. Put a lot of time into these sliders for franchise mode for you guys. I really hope that you appreciate the time that not only myself but a lot of people in Discord have put in, the things we've tested for you to bring you this set, and hopefully we don't have to make a lot of changes. I do not like to release a set that is constantly, oh, we gotta change this, gotta change this, kind of change this. Unless there's been some sort of update from Madden, you really shouldn't see any updates needed to this set. We are that finalized on it. So I hope you guys appreciate the sliders, man. That's really it. These are for franchise mode. It's designed to give you a great realistic experience, a challenging experience, a fun experience, and one that teaches you to get better at the game and to get better at reading defenses and things like that. And if you are new to the channel, man, number one, thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate it. Number two, if you could subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. I'm getting so close to 10K, which I never thought was going to be possible. But when you come to my channel, you watch my video, and you click that subscribe button, that really helps me achieve a goal of mine. So thank you, and hopefully you enjoy this content. And if you are new, man, I got a lot of other Madden content already out that you're going to appreciate, as well as a lot of Madden 24 content yet to come. Otherwise, guys, the last thing I want to tell you about the sliders is this is always a reminder that my slider set specifically, but honestly, any slider set you use should always be considered a base. There's no one size fits all slider set, because everyone is using a different team. They have different skill levels. They have different play styles. So you cannot create a slider set that's going to be perfect for every single person out there who tries them and plays them. So with that being said, feel free to use these as a base. That's what they're designed for. If you are struggling running the ball, increase run blocking. If you are struggling, or if you're running the ball too well, decrease it. Same goes for the CPU. If they're running too well, decrease run blocking. If they're not running too well, increase run blocking, and various other things. You guys are more than welcome to tweak these a little bit. It's mostly designed to get you a strong base. Don't change off the house rules, though. Those are important to the whole vibe of the sliders. Make sure you follow those house rules, which I will go in further depth here in a minute. Anyway, guys, that is it for this intro. Welcome you to my channel and this Madden 24 slider video, which are the best, at least in my opinion. So let's go ahead. You guys want the sliders? Let's go ahead and dive into main menu sliders, franchise mode sliders, and all the sliders settings in between. All right, let's go.
And Bonds hits way high. It's a deep. It is out of here. This is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryant for the win. Bang. Watch out. He's got getting away from the top speed. By Michael Short.
Alright, so if you are returning to my channel, if you've used my sliders before, main menu settings, these are going to be very, very familiar to you. You're going to know what to expect. If you are new to the channel, this might be new information for you. And also, thank you for checking out the video. And if you don't mind, subscribe, like the video. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. So if you aren't aware, main menu settings affect gameplay inside franchise mode. I'm not going to go ahead and do the full deep dive on it for you right now, but you just need to trust me on that. So what we're going to do here is set your difficulty in main menu to all Madden, game style simulation. Clock management doesn't really matter for main menu. You can do whatever you want here. Coin toss definitely needs to be receive, just because if you put kick, the CPU always hits receive, so then you will always kick it if you set to do so. Passing type, this is important. We're making a change. Last year we were on placement and accuracy, and this year we're just going placement because, without realizing it, I was on placement and accuracy last year, which means that you have control over where how accurate the pass is. So even when you're playing with a lesser rated quarterback, you would still be very accurate because of your throw timing. We do not want to override player ratings. When we start overriding player ratings, that's when we get away from simulation. So placement is where we need to go. This allows you to control the power of the throw and the location of the throw. However, the player's accuracy ratings will determine if the ball actually goes as intended. So definitely need to make sure you're on placement, passing slowdown off, freeform vertical max distance, and speed is up to you. This is what I'm currently using. Because you are controlling the placement of where you want the ball to go, you can definitely have this as visible. Meter needs to be hidden. Now it's a glitch. So you're going to put hidden here in the main menu, and you're going to go put hidden in franchise mode, and every time you fire up the game, the meter's going to be there. So the first thing you do when you get into a game, press pause and go in and turn meter off. Clint did respond to me on Twitter that they are looking into fixing this. It is going to be addressed, but until that happens, you need to always make sure this is hidden. Gameplay helpers. I turn auto flip defensive play call on. Why not? Defensive ball hawk off because we do not use or catch, but we'll get to that later. Defensive heat seeker assist and switch assist is user preference. I have it on, and I would recommend it too. You're going to need all the help you can get. And these things are kind of also user preference. Now, injuries at 10, fatigue at 100, and player speed parity at 0. Next, we're going to swing on over to penalties. This is really easy. You're just going to max them all out. Everything is turned on, but max them out, turn them all on. Player skill. You are going to zero out all of the sliders outside of special teams. And then save the file so it's there for you later down the line. CPU, we are going to do the exact same thing. No, these are not designed for you to go ahead and play now, because play now runs off this 0 and 0, which means you won't be able to do a thing if you take these into play now. This is just for the impact that they have in franchise. So do not touch special teams, just zero out all the main menus. Visual feedback, this is going to be the same for inside franchise, so make sure you turn off dynamic play call. Previous play information is currently broken, but turn it on. They're not showing previous play right now for whatever reason. Hopefully they fix it. On-field visual feedback off. This is key. We want a clean screen, guys. We're going for simulation football here. That means the trainer needs to be off. Defensive pass coverage assist should be off. Receiver visual assist needs to be off because house rule, no user catching on offense or defense, because it overrides the player's ratings. We don't want that. We're going for simulation. Let the players' ratings play out. Let them dive for passes on their own. They do it. So no user catching with my slider set. On offense or defense, you will get an experience that is not what this set is designed for. So make sure this is turned off. Drive gold feedback turned off because we don't care. Franchise should be scores only. Boosts, again, we don't care, so turn that off. Coaching tips off. Menu, and this is up to you. This is another big one. You must be on zoom camera on offense because it makes it harder. When you're on standard, when you're passing and running, you can see the entire field. That is not realistic. When you're on zoom, it's forcing you to look at, when you're passing, you're going to have to look at 1, 2, you have to work your way through progressions, which is realistic, makes passing harder. Running the ball, you're not going to know necessarily if the outside's there until you look and kind of go out there. So zoom is just there for more realistic and challenging experience. It's a must. Defense, though, you can go standard, no big deal. People do always ask me, of course, this is 100% user preference, but this is my volume settings. Commentary at 45, stadium at 100, crowd at 40, on the field at 45. I've been getting a great experience with the sound on these settings, especially with how the commentary and crowd mix in with the stadium speakers. So that's just what I use. Again, user preference. So once you have this all set up, you can then hop into your franchise, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the test franchise I've been running. We're going to go through all the sliders there, but you're going to go ahead and just fire up your franchise. And we're going to do a couple things over here. You're going to go to franchise settings, gameplay sliders. The first thing you're going to do when this loads is bottom left-hand corner, you're going to hit the reset button. and then you're going to hit triangle to import. This is going to bring in so all the sliders are 0 from the main menu. You are then going to set quarterback accuracy to 5. Pass blocking stays 0. Wide receiver catching is 54. Run blocking is 20. Fumbles 10. Reaction 0. Interceptions 25. Pass coverage 0. Tackling 65. CPU skill 5. Pass blocking 0. Wide receiver catching 52. Run blocking 20. Fumbles 10. Etc. etc. Now, I'm going to pause the video for a PSA. These sliders are designed to be used as a base. I reiterate this many times. If you are struggling passing for whatever reason, go turn up the accuracy until you become too good and lower it back down to where I have it set. If you are struggling running the football, turn up run blocking. It's not rocket science. If the quarterbacks for the CPU are struggling, turn up their accuracy, turn up their run blocking if they can't run the football. Turn it down if they're doing it too well. Turn yours down if you're doing it too well. These are designed to be a base to give you a very strong foundation, but I understand everybody's play skill is different and everybody's team that they're using talent-wise is different. So it might not necessarily work. There's really no one slider fits all set out there, given the amount of factors that nobody can account for when creating sliders. So these are the main sliders. Now special teams, we're going to go right here, 50, 45, 50, 40, and 50. Injuries, we're going to keep it 10. Fatigue, we're going to move to 81. And minimum speed player threshold still stays 0. Penalties, these are very important. If you don't know, penalties impact gameplay with how the players play and animations. I'll explain it like this. If you raise offsides, what's its intention, right? It's to create more offside penalties. Well, how do you create more offside penalties? Well, the defensive line is more aggressive to jump the snap, right? False starts, same thing. How do you create more false starts? They're more aggressive to jump the snap. So even though the penalties aren't called very often, it still creates that extra aggression. So you're going to see a little bit more pop from the defense and offensive line that you would not see if it was lower. Holding, same concept. When you raise holding penalty, it creates holding calls that, of course, unfortunately are not called because penalties look at the game right. But what it does do is the animation that the higher the holding, the more players will hold and block to hold their blocks. That creates that penalty call. The lower you go, the less likely they're going to hold on to those blocks so they don't get the holding call, if that makes sense. So dropping holding, we had holding up higher. I wasn't hardly getting any calls. I'll tell you right now, I've gotten more holding calls with it on 25 than I did on 75 personally. We're going to low 25 to create more of a pass rush from the CPU, and it definitely is there, user and CPU. Face mask, same thing. We're going lower for more conservative tackles instead of when you go higher, you get more over the top, which can create face mask calls. Pass interference, same thing. The higher it is, the more sticky the coverage because the defenders are attacking the players and the ball more, which would create that penalty. Whereas when you lower it, they don't do it quite as much. But passing is still challenging. This is honestly a sweet spot for DPI in my opinion. And I still get defensive pass interference calls. Illegal block in the back, we're jacking up to 60. We get a call every now and then, not so much. Everything else here is going to stay here. Now, roughing the kicker, this is a big one. There are still pursuit angle issues in the game from CPU players. Turning off roughing the kicker for whatever reason helps the pursuit angle. So you're going to have if you've had situations where you were able to score a touchdown or broke a big play because the defender came up and took a horrible angle on you and you're like, why would he take that angle? I'm not going to say that this completely fixes it, but it vastly improves the angles they take for whatever reason. So definitely turn off roughing the kicker. Once you get those sliders set in, we are going to go over and mess around with some auto subs. And I will tell you this, auto subs impact gameplay. We are trying our best to get auto subs rotations. They don't really work, as they should, which is why fatigue is up as high. But we have been able to get some auto subs. But I can tell you for a fact that auto subs impacts gameplay, especially certain ones. So we're leaving quarterback, we're not touching it. Running backs, 84-79, you will get some rotations. You'll get some decent rotations if you run the ball, 3 or 4 times in a row, or that running back touches the ball 3 or 4 times in a row. You'll see him sub out. Wide receivers, we're getting some sub outs here, 89-79 as well. If the running backs aren't subbing out enough for you, feel free to go a +5. So you would go 89 and 84. But I kind of like where it's at right here. But this is user preference. But that's the highest you'd want to go. We're not touching tight end and fullback. Now this is a key 0 and 1 for offensive line. This definitely helps pressure. We know that they vastly improved pass blocking and run blocking this year to the point that the pass rush is very non-existent in the game. Even with pass blocking at 0, you really only get pressure if you blitz. So this will definitely help that not be the case. You're not going to have a lot of time to throw. You're going to have to make quick reads, quick decisions, and definitely make line adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Defensively, 4 rotations, defensive tackles, 84-79, and defensive end, 84-79. Everything else is default. Getting some nice rotations on the defensive line there. And then make sure you do hit accept and continue at the bottom, or it will not save. All right, guys. That is it. Now make sure that when you play, you pair this up with the quarterback edits. I've already dropped a video. You're going to see it at the end of this video in the top corner. It's going to be overlaid. Make sure that you follow that quarterback edit specifically, or else you're not going to get good CPU quarterback play. And if you do want to start your franchise, that's fine. I wouldn't recommend going too far because I haven't yet dropped the best settings for franchise, which is going to include the player progression and regression. That's the biggest thing that we need to knock out that's new this year. All the other settings are there. But guys, if you want to start up a test franchise or play around, get used to them, or even start your main one and just wait for the progression regression sliders, that's fine. These sliders are ready to go. We've put a lot of work into them. People in Discord have really helped out, gave a lot of great feedback. I'm excited for you guys to play these and check this out. I forgot to mention that we are staying at all Madden in franchise. That's one thing I should probably have mentioned. I'll show you guys right here. All Madden difficulty simulation. I'm currently on 13 minutes with 18 seconds left on Excel clock. If you want to go 12, you can. Excel clock is very big this year. And I've kind of moved on to it because it helps with the time of possession. If you go no accelerated clock, you will dominate the time of possession simply because of how much time we spend at the line of scrimmage making adjustments. So the CPU doesn't really do that. So I recommend 13 and 18 or 12 and 18. It's kind of up to you. But otherwise, guys, those are the settings. Hope you enjoy. And as always, stay tuned to the next video. Peace.